This is Descenders Next. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So many years ago, there was Descenders, which was a game launching an Xbox game preview, where you are going down a hill, a randomly generated hill, randomly generated environment, on a bike, a dirt bike, as to say. And you were trying to get points, you were trying to score, you were trying to get the best score possible. And that was sort of the concept of the game, was just going down hills, the hills always being different, the challenges always being different, and that being kind of the gameplay idea, is that you just shred down these hills, and now you literally can shred down these hills as they've taken the gameplay concept and they've applied it to a snowboarding game, which to me makes a lot of sense. Like, it's a game where you're going, downhill. You're trying to get points. You're trying to survive the challenges there. I am really getting off course on this one. It just, logically, the gameplay design, I guess you would say, of Descenders with the bikes makes a lot of sense to apply it to something like snowboarding. And it's just as fun. It's just as interesting gameplay-wise, and it plays, just as well. If not, maybe even a little bit better, as they've kind of refined, I guess you would say, their technology, and just, again, the concept of doing, downhill descending as an extreme sport, and having it as, snowboarding just makes a lot of sense to me. It really does. Like, seriously, I get it. And then as a game preview title, I know it'll, evolve over time, but it seems pretty much finished because it already has achievements and stuff, and I don't know, that's kind of how I feel about game preview titles. If you launch with achievements, you're basically like a finished game. But, it might evolve over time, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, conquer the world of extreme sports, grab your snowboard, and tackle the steep, snowy slopes, the harsh terrain. Go up the mountainboard. With your mountainboard? Okay, that's kind of funny. So the mountain is calling, and it's calling you. So it's a reimagining of this extreme sport, but Descender style. Ride your way every way. Find a path and attack the mountain, ride solo or in multiplayer. So, you can kind of tackle it and have fun with others. Back roll 2 times? Back roll. Yeah, I don't really know what it wants here. But anyways, so you're kind of just going down this terrain, and as you play it and you do stuff, you'll get points and you'll progress, and you get full freestyle control over your stuff and how you do things. Oh, that really looked like it hurt. And you can showcase your skills as you save plays and show them off to others, and continue doing things. Yeah, we're right off the side here. And then you build your reputation with a fully fledged character customizer rep system built towards unlocking new gear. So they've got a bit more of a backbone behind this one in terms of stuff that you're doing. It's interesting because, like I said, I had played. I don't really know what a back roll is. It doesn't really explain it. Finish after bailing. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Guess I failed that objective. But yeah, that was the thing with Descenders. It was kind of almost an odd concept, because you just sort of went down the hill, and it was sort of really loose in how you went and tackled it. This one still lets you kind of sprawl out of the way, but it does seem a little bit more focused, especially with the way these trails are set up and done. It just seems like we're kind of okay, well, how do we follow up Descenders? What do we do with this? And then they're oh, well, snowboarding makes perfect sense. And it really does. Again, I don't know what a back roll is. Is there is there something that tells me what a back roll is? Advanced controls. I genuinely do not know. A back flip? Roll? I don't know what a roll backwards is. See, that's what I hate about some of these sports games, where they're oh, do this technical term, and I'm I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Is that I press LB to do the trick, or it doesn't tell you, so you have no idea. Anyway, so visually the game does look pretty good. little jaggedies in some of the backdrop things, but I don't think you'll kind of miss that. Is there a way to change what exactly my challenge is? Oh, front flip. Okay, so that's a different one for me. Nice. Though I don't know how I'm getting enough air to do a front flip. So it's like 4040p. It seems like maybe some dynamic in there, and then it's actually like goes up to 120 FPS. So it can be smooth at times. I have noticed some little performance kind of like hiccups and stuff. Well, that looks like a double front flip. Because I'm not gonna have enough like speed to do a front flip here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get like enough of a hill jump to do a front flip on this. You know what I mean? Like I'm not getting enough error to do a front flip. Like I kind of wish I was, but yeah, no, that's definitely not happening. So yeah, so basically it looks like 1440 at 120 FPS, because like the original game had like a couple, I think it had a couple different graphical modes if I'm remembering correctly. And usually there's a music soundtrack, but I turned that off because I didn't know if that would be a problem, because they don't have any sort of streamer settings in this in the modern era, which is wild. But it's done by Monster Cat, and the music was actually pretty great. Honestly, I was listening to some of it, and yeah, kind of like the beats. It was very zen-like for a snowboarding game, because like if you've played snowboarding games, you know the soundtrack. Wow, soundtrack is usually a big part of that. So definitely got some cool music going on in this. And then you do it. This is my session thing. So it's kind of like you're almost surviving to see how many points you get. And then you can go up and kind of redo things and then compete against people. And 42. Let's go up here. Like, it's a neat idea, right? Like, building through these generated terrains, and it just creates a situation where the game is entirely unique every time you go about it. Well, maybe not entirely, like things look similar and stuff, but it does seem like we are getting to a point in game randomization, depending on the game, where it does feel a little bit more, you know, fresh and unique every time you try to tackle things. I guess my thing would be, though, like, also, like, what else is the progression in this, if that makes sense? Like, obviously, like, you're working to customize your character. I didn't even really get an option to do that, though. You kind of, like, just get flung into it after you do your tutorial thing, but, you know, like, there is a backbone to it. Oh, that was bad. But, like, also, I don't know what keeps you going and playing this. Like, I guess Descenders was quite big, so maybe people just like that sort of gameplay loop where you're just, like, playing through it over and over again. But it just seems like you get, like, a little trivial kind of, like, stats, and then it's, like, does the points even really matter or anything, honestly? Like I'm doing, like, tricks and stuff, but I don't know. Like, I guess it goes towards your total tally score, and then, you know, you run, you get X amount of points, but 42. Snowy Peaks. Okay, so if I back out, I can customize a bit. Oh, okay. Then you can create a team. Like, choose a team, I guess, and then, yeah, all that stuff. Anyways, let's go back to it. Extras. Game preview roadmap. Wow, I actually got that baked into the game. Mountainboarding. So they do have that in this, too. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So mountainboarding is in this as well. It just seems so advertised between just the snowboarding stuff. I didn't even notice that. Okay, let's keep rolling. But yeah, you get like this kind of mountain format where you're kind of boarding or shredding your way to different sections. I was going to call it sectors, but sections, yeah, same sort of thing. So it's neat, but yeah, like the objective stuff is kind of like sort of simplistic for me. If that makes sense, like it's, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I wonder if this gameplay loop is gonna be like perfectly good for everyone. That's really the question, right? Is like, does the gameplay loop look satisfying to you? If you just want to snowboard and shred down a hill, that's not bad for that. For sure, if you like the, you know, gameplay design. Wonder what else they could do. I'm trying to think of other sports that are like downhill extreme sports you can do. I guess you could look at like Riders Republic. They have like a few different things. Try skateboarding down a hill. Like, it's such a beautifully simplistic concept. It'd be neat if they tried to apply this to more like large scale sort of shred things, right? Because it's basically it's done in super tight little loops, right? Like you're kind of going for like a minute or less or something. You're just kind of zipping down and then you're done. But it would be cool to see something a little bit more expansive there. And it would be nice to see some more different pieces. Like, I guess there is good variety, but it's like, hey, we got slopes, we got rocks and stuff, but it'd be cool if there was like, what do you call it, like half pipes or something that you kind of whip down while you're going through or something. I don't know, like this generation stuff, like where the environments are kind of randomly generated and created. They're very cool in concept, but I still think we have like a bit to go to the point where it's like they're basically in their infancy, this tech. And at some point we'll get truly like randomized environments that feel completely fresh every time you go about it. Then when you hit that right game, oh come on. You know, it'll be the sort of thing you just never stop playing. And then like, I guess the multiplayer integration in this is kind of neatly done too. And the board style is well done. Like, you really do have intuitive like snowboarding controls, the way you shred and the way you move in the environment. Whether or not you like actually master them, I guess, is another thing altogether. Let's go for stunts. And I like that there's a bit of a rating on all the maps too, where it's like what they're designed like. But clever little system here. I'll definitely give that to them. They certainly have created an interesting game design. My last stand. Oh, that's a little bit of too much pressure on me. I have died. The way they designed this too kind of makes me think of the SSX reboot almost, in like not a great way, because I didn't like that system. You died a lot, but it makes sense here because you're doing basically roguelike runs, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the mountainboarding thing and see what this is like. You know what? I bet it is. We'll see in a sec here when we get into this. The mountainboarding, because it would be interesting if they just backboned the last thing into this. Airtime 5 seconds. It's gonna be literally mountainboarding, isn't it? Okay, yeah, it is. It's like skateboarding down the hill. This is kind of what I figured this would be with. But they don't really show you this mode when you're doing, like, they got like a tutorial opening. So yeah, it's exactly the same as the snow thing, but it's designed for doing the mountain boards. They're kind of advertising this almost as fully like a snowboarding experience, but there's actually like this other backbone in it where you can just literally break your backbone over and over and over again. Huh. But I guess that this makes sense, right? Because it would be... Oh wow, this is really a lot harder than snowboarding. But anyways, it'd be a lot similar to snowboarding, right? Where you're kind of going down on something that is a similar kind of snowboarding thing, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a snowboard. Should actually really retry, well, my life there, but should also really retry Descenders at some point just to see how that game's kind of evolved. Because I think I tried it out at one point, and then there was like an update or something I did eventually take a look at, I believe, and then, you know, then they added features, but I don't know if I ever saw like the full completed version of it. Something to think about, I suppose. I don't know, some games you just like, you check out and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, no, I remember that, and then you just kind of move on, especially in the business that I do, you know, where I'm just kind of playing stuff to check it out. But like some people really like the extreme sports thing, and then like, you know, they've got games to match. Oh, that looked nasty. But all this stuff does really is it just kind of reminds me of my intense desire to have like a new SSX game. Someday would be really great, but you know, you get what you get, right? Oh, that's not good. Now this reminds me of Descenders, where you're just kind of going off the path. Like, it's a pretty decently nice looking game. How am I ever supposed to get enough air to do a backflip 2 times? Seriously, I genuinely don't know where I can get enough air time to do that. Like, I'm just gonna get injured. I mean, I'm already getting injured, but... Well, there we go, I guess that worked. Except that did not. My last stand. My last chance for romance. Sometimes you just gotta hold the line, and then love can be on time. Oh, there we go, no, I guess I did it. Wow. Wait, so this is like your bonus objective? I thought it was like the main objective. Nice. Yeah, I think I would just mostly stick with the snowboarding. This is a little... thing with wheels is a little bit more awkward, but I get what they're going for. It's definitely an interesting game. I will hand that to the developers. They've actually got kind of an interesting concept going on there. I do ponder, though, what you would do after this, if that makes sense. Like, to continue this sort of thing. It's like, what kind of descending would you do? But I bet you they're just focused 100% on this game. And they'll go to the drawing board down the road if they ever want to expand on this. I'm just, like, thinking also of, like, what other sports you could, like, take the concept of. Like, Descenders is like, oh, they're descending, I get that. But, yeah, I would have called it, like, Descenders 2 or something. I'll have to go with this name that kind of maybe would confuse people a little bit. But yeah, no, I get what they're trying to do with this game. It's neat. It's taking that concept, I think, polishing it a lot better too. But it's still very much like it's funny because I'm playing it. I'm like, yeah, this is just like Descenders was, where it's like a very simplistic concept, gameplay wise. You know, like short little bursts that you just do over and over again. I guess it's good for like short attention spans, but I don't know. I kinda like it. It's neat. 1. Go. Let's do this. Backflip 2 times. What is with the obsession with backflips? But yeah, I'd like a little bit more of a focus on like some more interesting objectives, like maybe something score-wise. It just seems to be like, oh, do this trick, or do that trick, or do this. Maybe it gets a little bit more complex if you actually survive long enough to do it. And just for me, this type of thing would get like... You know, I get bored of it pretty quickly, I think. I know some folks would really love this sort of a thing. Yeah, I'd probably just stay with the snowboarding. But it was good to take a look at that. At least I think so, right? Kind of go over it and talk about it. Like some people, you might literally just sit there and be like playing the snowboarding and just be like, that's all you know the game as? Whereas there is this whole other side to it with boards, and yeah. I don't know. Neat idea. I'll definitely give them props for that. Like, they've taken their concept and they keep evolving it, and that is always cool in my book, honestly, for doing that kind of stuff. I always like different types of games like this, you know, you can jump in and have a little bit of a fun time with. And I know this is honestly probably something that targets a little bit different of an audience for me as well, and I can appreciate them creating something like this to cater to that. Ugh! Oh, let's try to stay on track. But yeah, I remember that a lot with Descenders too, just going like way off the track, and it was a neat idea, that one, and it's cool to see they were able to you know, it was successful enough for them to iterate upon it and do something new with their technology, but still bold and familiar.